All right then, good afternoon, everyone. Today is August 22nd, 2020. This is a special meeting of the members of the State Liquor Authority being conducted in Albany and also remotely. We have Chairman Bradley on the phone with us. Chairman Bradley.
Yeah, I'm here.
We also have Commissioners Fan and Commissioners Ford, who can be seen on the video. We have General Counsel Meyerhoff, who can also be seen on video. On the phone, we have Deputy Commissioner of Licensing Roberts.
Here, Tom.
And of course, myself, Secretary Downey in the Albany offices. Today's calendar, we have 3 items. They are all requests from Council's office for summary orders of suspension. We'll start off with the first one, which is agenda number 1035W. Schenectady OP 2119580. The licensee is MVW Inc.
Good afternoon, Chairman Bradley, Commissioner Fan, and Commissioner Ford. William Brennan for Council's office. I'm here today to request that the board summarily suspend the licensee for blatantly violating Executive Orders 202.16, 202.52, 202.43, and failing to adequately supervise the premises. The licensee, MVW Inc., has been licensed since September of 2003. The licensed premises is located at 1051 Curry Road, Schenectady, New York. On August 21st, 2020, at approximately 5:35 p.m., investigators Benedetto and Figueroa entered the premises in an undisclosed capacity. Upon entering, they noted the bar was full of both male and female patrons, with all 14 stools at the bar taken. In addition, there were 3 people standing and congregating at the bar. There was no social distancing at the bar, and Benedetto had to order their drinks standing between and within 2 feet of 2 different patrons. The bartender was wearing her mask on her chin when they entered, and the entire time that the investigators were in the premises. Benedetto observed several people enter and leave the bar without masks or facial coverings of any kind. Benedetto ordered 2 beers for the investigators and was not required to order or obtain any food. They also noted at least 4 additional patrons standing and sitting at high-top tables located across the bar. Patrons were walking around without any masks or facial covering. The licensee will be charged with violations of EO 202.16, 202.43, 202.52, and the failure to supervise the licensed premises. The observations of investigators Benedetto and Figueroa, along with the pictures contained in the report, clearly showed that the licensee is operating the premises with blatant disregard for the governor's executive orders and the SLA's guidelines. The manner in which the licensee is conducting business poses an immediate threat to the health, safety, and welfare of the licensee's patrons, employees, the community, as well as the general public during this terrible pandemic. We respectfully request that this board issue an emergency order suspending this licensee. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Gary Meyerhoff here. Just want to add that this appears to be a bar that believes that bar service is permitted in this environment. They're making no effort to have a dining service, allowing people to walk around without face masks, to order at the bar, no social distancing at the bar, as if this was the summer of 2019. And our investigators had no trouble buying drinks without being asked if they wanted any food. Clear violation of multiple executive orders and essential disregard of the pandemic and the fact that there are rules and restrictions governing their service at this time. Thank you.
With that, Commissioner Fan, do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Ford, do you have any questions?
Any adverse history with this licensee, Counselor?
There was no significant adverse history. There was no adverse history since 2009. So no, sir. We did have several complaints in the file, but this is the first time that the investigators went out and found these violations. And I'd also like to state that in addition to the several photographs that I did send, I have approximately 15 more that, due to some technological glitches, was not able to incorporate with my presentation today. But the pictures just speak for themselves, Commissioner.
You're right. We get the point. Thank you, Counselor.
Chairman Bradley, do you have any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
All right, with that then, I will call for your votes. Commissioner Fan,
As given the evidence presented and the pictures also point to that, showing customers sitting shoulder to shoulder, no mask on, walking around casually using ATMs. And I find that this licensee has created a hazardous situation, which is completely contrary to the intent of the governor's executive order to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in our state. And since there's imminent threat to public health, safety, and welfare, I vote to summarily suspend this license.
Commissioner Ford, your vote, please.
I vote to summarily suspend for the same reasons.
And Chairman Bradley.
I vote to summarily suspend as well. There's clearly no effort being taken by this licensee whatsoever to follow any of the executive orders, and our licensees are under a significant responsibility and obligation right now to follow these executive orders, and this licensee clearly just has no interest or desire to do so. So they're clearly a threat to the public health, safety, and welfare.
All right, then, the next item is 1035X. It's Kings OP 1233780. The licensee is 354 Melrose Restaurant, Inc.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, members of the board. Mark Frering on behalf of Office of Counsel. This licensee is doing business as La Perla, located at 354 Melrose Street in Brooklyn. Last night, investigators observed at least 37 patrons standing and drinking in front of the premises after 11 p.m. There was no food, no operational kitchen. The DJ was playing extremely loud music and patrons were dancing on the sidewalk. Once investigators arrived, an employee attempted to run out to distribute masks to patrons. Patrons were congregating on the sidewalk and in the street with no social distancing. To recap, the licensee was selling open containers. Employees were not wearing face masks. Patrons were standing and drinking outdoors on the sidewalk and in the street. There were also patrons inside drinking. The DJ was playing loud music out onto the sidewalk to attract the crowd. There was no social distancing and very few patrons were wearing face masks. There was no food, no operational kitchen. The report and photos are in evidence. It is apparent that this licensee is not even trying to comply with the executive orders, which are intended to protect the public health and welfare and safety from the COVID virus. Therefore, we are requesting an emergency order of summary suspension to protect the public health.
Okay, Commissioner Fan, do you have any questions?
Mark, when was this licensee licensed?
First licensed in 2010.
And it's supposed to be a restaurant or it's supposed to be a bar tavern?
Yeah. This is supposed to be a restaurant with background music and no dancing. I mean, yeah, no dancing, no DJ.
Okay.
Commissioner Ford, do you have any questions? I'm sorry, Commissioner Fan, are you done?
Yes, I'm done. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Ford, any questions?
No, you answered my question about the DJ. Thank you.
All right, then, Chairman Bradley, do you have any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
All right, with that, I will call for your votes. First, Commissioner Fan.
It's clear from the evidence provided by Council Faring that this license you really have not tried at all to comply with the governor's executive orders or the mayor's executive orders designed to contain the spread of COVID-19 in the state and within the 5 boroughs. This licensee have created a hazardous condition, and his location is definitely a location that would promote the spread of COVID-19 instead of prevent it. And because of the imminent threat to public health, welfare, and safety, I vote to summarily suspend this license.
All right, then Commissioner Ford, your vote, please.
In addition, an employee ran out to distribute masks hurriedly when investigators arrived, pretty much confirming that they knew that how they were not supervising their premises was known to them. Nicotine hookah was also being served without a permit. Hookah station and grill for cooking coals on site without a New York City DOB approved venting. Fire extinguisher was not inspected monthly. I also noted that there wasn't an 8-foot pedestrian clearance being maintained on the sidewalk. I also saw, I believe, receipts for liquor purchase from an unauthorized source. So for all that, plus everything that's stated by Commissioner Fan and Council, I vote to summarily suspend.
All right, Chairman Bradley, your vote.
I vote to summarily suspend as well. Not only were they violating just about every executive order that's put in place to protect the public health, welfare, and safety, but they were violating a multitude of other ABC laws that probably would have resulted in their closure even without the COVID situation. They're clearly a threat to the public health, safety, and welfare operating this way, and they have no interest or desire, it seems, to follow any of the executive orders. So I vote to summarily suspend.
All right, thank you. Then the next item is 1035Y, Albany OP 2001204. The licensee is King Inc.
Good afternoon, members of the board. Camarado for Office of Counsel, which submits the subject licensee, King Inc., doing business as Andy's Place, located at 605 New Scotland Avenue, Albany, New York. The license was issued on November 1st, 1996, with principals Jenny and Andy Kung. The license was issued for them to operate as a restaurant. There are no prior EOs, and there has been no history in the past 5 years. However, last night, on August 21st, 2020, at approximately 9:40, task force investigators, including Bob Bendetto, appeared to do an undisclosed inspection. When they first entered the premises, they observed a bartender who was not wearing a mask. And as they approached the bar, they observed patrons entering and exiting without masks and congregating at the bar. When they first arrived, there was approximately 3 to 4 patrons standing by the bar consuming beverages. In the course of 15 minutes, there was additional patrons stepped up to the bar, and at one point there were 7 patrons standing there without masks consuming beers. When the investigators purchased 2 Coors draft beers, they were not required to purchase food. In addition to them not having to purchase food, I spoke with Investigator Bendetto, and he told me that he didn't see any of the other patrons eating food or any food anywhere in sight. Clearly, the exhibits that were presented showed the congregation of the patrons standing by the bar, and that this conduct is contrary to the EO guidelines that were designed to prevent, specifically 202.38, 202.3, 202.16. What was observed last night was inconsistent with the restaurant dining experience that was in line with the operation of a bar as opposed to a restaurant. And this is in direct violation of the governor's executive orders. No doubt the licensee is disregarding the EOs and operating in a manner that is potentially causing imminent harm to the patrons, employees, and others. Clearly, this licensee cannot be trusted, and as a result of the executive orders being violated, we feel that the licensee poses an imminent risk to the public, and respectfully request that members summarily suspend this license. Thank you.
Commissioner Fan, do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Ford, do you have any questions?
No, sir. No questions. Thank you, Tom.
Chairman Bradley, do you have any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
And just to know, I misspoke at the beginning, and Mr. Amaral corrected it. And on your agenda sheet, it's KUNG is the licensee, not KING. Apologize for that typo. All right, with that, then I'm going to call for your votes, Commissioner Fan.
Judging from the pictures, it's clear that this licensee is not taking the governor's executive orders designed to contain the spread of COVID-19 seriously at all. There are people standing shoulder to shoulder, no mask, there's service being provided, no mask, and no service of food. Given the evidence presented, I find that there's imminent threat to public health, welfare, and safety at this location, and I vote to suspend this license.
All right, Commissioner Ford, your vote.
One quick question. Michael, what year did you say their license was issued? Was it 1996?
That's correct.
Okay, all right. I vote to summarily suspend for all the reasons stated by Commissioner Fan.
All right, and Chairman Bradley.
I vote to summarily suspend based on the summary by Commissioner Fan.
All right, with that, I have nothing else on the calendar. Chairman Bradley, anything else you want to include on today's calendar?
No, just say thank you to all of you. And Gary, thank all your attorneys for putting this all together today. And the commissioners, thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, then.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
And of course, Tom. And of course, Tom and his team.
And with that, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend, everybody.